Turn down the noise and turn up the calm with practitioner-grade supplements by Metagenics. Always read the label and follow directions for use. Well, Turia, this is a very special moment because I'm finally getting to meet you in person. But welcome to Magnetic with Madelyn, the podcast. I'm so excited to have you here today.
Yeah, thanks, Matt. It's great to be here.
It's so good. I remember interviewing you back in 2020, which feels like a lifetime ago, I'm sure, for both of us.
Yes, yeah.
And that was with the release of your first book, Happy.
Yeah.
But it was all done online. We were in COVID times and everything was online at that point. But it was such a special moment talking to you because I remember originally coming across your story. Well, we just realised 15 years ago, that's a long time being inspired by someone, and your journey is just extraordinary in what you do. So I'm so excited to have you here to talk about your latest book, Selfish.
Yeah.
Yes. Tell us a little bit about it.
So I wrote that book. It was a time in my life. Michael is my spunky partner. We didn't have a lot of family support. We had two little kids who were both they were 4 and 2. We'd moved away from family and friends. Michael was really busy as a helicopter pilot. And I was trying to do everything like I suppose lots of people, lots of women in particular, can relate to. Working really hard, trying to achieve goals at work, trying to do everything on the home front. And so what actually happened is I went through burnout just as a result of saying yes to everything, wanting to be a nice person, wanting to accommodate other people, all of those things that I'm sure a lot of the listeners of this can relate to. And so what you do when you go through burnout, if you're me, is you decide to write a book about it. That's what you do when you're an overachiever. You go, oh yeah, there's surely a book in here. And so that's where the idea for Selfish came about.
And what does the word, I guess, selfish mean to you? Because I guess in a lot of ways it has had a more negative connotation.
Yeah.
But obviously your book has such a beautiful spin on it being such a positive thing that we can do as women.
Yeah.
Where did you land with the name, and I guess where did you start to have a really positive, feeling towards that word?
Yeah, I think I wanted to call it Selfish because I'm a bit of a smart ass to start with. But I also think it was about reclaiming that word and being proud of that label and taking ownership of it as well. And I think at its core, wanting to have clearer work-life boundaries, wanting to be able to say no to people, wanting to be kind but firm, wanting to make sure you do things that fill your cup. None of those things are actually selfish at their core. So I think that's where I landed with the title. But you also need a title that's kind of a bit grabby.
Yes,
maybe
totally.
that gets people's attention. Mm-hmm. So I think that's why I landed with that too. Yeah, because I could have done something like, life lessons or which just probably doesn't have the same ring to it.
No, I love it. It was like as soon as I saw it, I'm like, oh, I love this.
Yeah.
And just exactly, I guess what I said of reworking that name, giving it a positive spin of we're actually allowed to be selfish, and it doesn't have to have a negative connotation. It's just one day someone decided that was negative to be selfish, but it's we both know as women and mums and women who have big dreams, you have to be selfish in order to be able to give to all of the things that you're here to give to and you desire to give to.
I think it's also the rhetoric though, it's a pretty big insult, right, to call someone selfish.
Yeah.
And I've been called a selfish bitch a few times in my life. And it's something that really, really stabs you in your core, I guess, because women are supposed to be carers, nurturers, look after people, look after their family, look after the whānau, look after the kids, look after their team, look after their employees. And that's a really big ask on one person's shoulders. Yeah. So I think, I'm probably not articulating myself very well, but I think there's something in that as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So what is it for you? What do you do to kind of really give back to yourself? And, that whole analogy of filling up the cup. How do you fill up your own cup?
Yeah, that's a good question because I feel like I give all of this advice to make sure you fill your own cup. And then I think, sometimes I'm probably not like not the best at it because
you're human.
Yeah, I'm human. Life's busy. I've got a team. I've got kids. I was telling you before, my kid's just doing cross country. I came from an event, so like life is just really, really busy, and I'm not whinging about that because, like, what a great problem to have, to be so busy with stuff that you enjoy doing. But yeah, at the same time, I'm probably not always great at making sure I fill my cup. But there are some things that I do. Yeah. So I think starting my day with a cup of coffee is pretty good. It sounds really, really simple, like basic bitch. But hear me out. So starting my day with a cup of coffee, starting my day listening to an audiobook. I think in the past I've tried to cram as much stuff into my life as possible to try and be more efficient and more productive. But what I've realised, particularly through writing this book, is that when you let your brain think, when you give yourself a beat, when you allow yourself stillness, when you allow yourself the joy of listening to a book on Audible or whatever it is, that can be really restorative. And I think that works wonders for your brain. And because a lot of what I do may be similar to you, Mads, you have to be creative to come up with new ideas. And if I'm just cramming my brain with all of this information all of the time and checking Slack messages and WhatsApp and emails and this and that and ordering lunches, then my brain's so full, it's so overloaded that I can't think any new thoughts, and I can't think of any of my own creative thoughts either. So like it's even been good actually with my kids listening to books that I loved to read as a kid. It's like my son and I were listening to the BFG on Audible. Yeah, I know, it's really cute. And you say it in them because sometimes I'll watch YouTube, which like, you know, I suppose
kids go wild from that. It's like,
but yeah, I know they go psychotic. Hey,
yeah, totally.
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah. And so I'll be like, no, we're going to listen to an audio book, guys.
Yep.
And they sort of fight against it. But then the magic of the storytelling, it's kind of like a balm for all of us. And I love that. Makes sense? Yeah.
Because it's like, one, it's instilling a habit of like mindfulness in them, of like, well, I could listen to a book. And then listening to a book is building their creativity, their imagination, because they're having to think about the characters, think about like what's being told to them. And I feel like that fuels and builds so much creativity in kids that then they can get to, you know, our age, and it's like, that's just like a default habit. Oh, I'm feeling overwhelmed, or I get some me time. What can I do? I'm going to plug in an audiobook and I'm just going to listen and allow my mind to, you know, block out the noise of exactly the dishes, the lunch boxes, all the other things. And be in this creative world for a little bit. And I actually love seeing my kids then. I feel like it really builds on imaginary play. And they come up with all of these games and these ideas. And I'm like, that's what fosters creativity. That's where then, you know, they grow up to be adults and birth ideas and birth, you know, these beautiful things because they've used their imagination and their creative mind. So
I actually sometimes I worry about the younger generations because I grew up in the 90s, which was, you know, a wild time, and I feel so old saying that. But there was more opportunity to use your imagination and to be creative and to play with sticks and mud. And I'm not romanticising the past because there was also a lot of things about the 90s which weren't good, but I got this real amazing opportunity to learn to use my mind, learn to use my imagination, learn to be creative. And I think with this younger generation, actually, I shouldn't, it makes me feel really old when I say that, but we're always supplying them the next thing to do, the next activity. Here, watch this. Here, do this. Here, I'm taking you to this. That sometimes I think, oh, I wonder if they're ever just allowed to be a kid. Yeah.
It's so true. And I think too, just with like, I don't know about you, but like I grew up, building cubby houses and like going across the road into the bush and like just exploring. And I'm like, oh, I can't imagine my kids doing that now.
But I wouldn't do that.
You wouldn't do it.
I wouldn't let that. that my kids do that.
Yes.
And I think, well, that's great that we're also much more educated now about child safety, but also there's still some ways that we could take them to the beach, let them run around, let them jump off sand dunes.
Get dirty,
do all of that. Do all of that sort of exploration. Even like now how we have terms for it, like exploration and things. It's just like, nah, they're just being kids, eh? They're literally just being
curious
kids.
Little kids.
Yeah, that's just how they are. Yeah.
So true.
It's actually been really good to re-watch my childhood through their eyes, and I think being a parent can be really challenging at times, but it's also kids are fucking amazing, aren't they?
They are.
They're loving, they're kind, they're creative, And
I think the thing I love the most is like realizing we come here as these like magical little beings.
I know, and then we get cynical.
And then we get like the masks go on. And I know you've like had a book all around like, the unmasking, but it's like the masks go on and we're told how we should show up and how we shouldn't. And we should be quiet and we should do this and we should be a good girl and we shouldn't be selfish and all of these things. But I'm like, you look at kids and that innocence of like wearing whatever they want to whatever occasion it is, and like, the ballet dress to the beach or the, glitter boots with the cardigan and all the things. And I'm like, oh, wow, that's what it was actually like to come to this earth and be so in your own uniqueness and magic. And it reminds me of, as an adult, to like tap a little bit back into that.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I feel like I got lucky in life too, because I had parents who weren't super conservative. So they both kind of walked their own paths. I was born in Tahiti. I'm Polynesian. We came to Australia. My dad was a surfboard shaper. He was a painter. My mum was a writer. So they were these like two, we didn't have a TV growing up. So they were like these two super creative kind of people who did live life on their own terms, and they didn't care about what other people were doing. They wanted to do what they wanted to do. And I think there's a lot of I suppose it helped me to walk my own path a little more comfortably, because I had those examples before me.
Absolutely, which is such a beautiful foundation in itself.
Oh, totally. And like not everyone gets that, not everyone gets a good start in life either. So I'm really grateful for that.
So what's the unfolding been for you? Because I know like in the book you obviously talk about like taking off some of the masks and building boundaries and having self-love and self-respect. This podcast has always been focused on inspiring women to prioritise their wellness. The burnt out, exhausted mum era is dead. Gone are the days where we self-sacrifice our health and our wellness as busy mums, because everyone wins when women are nourished, energised and feeling good. That's exactly why I'm so proud to partner with Metagenics. Not only are their supplements premium quality, they have been trusted by healthcare practitioners for over 40 years. For me personally, which I'm sure you can relate to, the hardest wellness hack of all as a mum is prioritising a good night's sleep. But thanks to Metagenics sleep, stress and mood supplements, it has become a little bit easier. From easing daily stress and supporting emotional resilience to promoting deep restorative sleep, Metagenics offers premium research-backed supplements designed to support your mental and physical well-being day and night. If you're ready to turn down the noise and turn up the calm, click the link in the show notes of this episode and then head to metagenics.com.au. Always read the label and follow the directions for use. How has that unfolded for you, like to get to this version of yourself where you feel like you can be and honour yourself in the way that you need to? Like, what has that process been like?
Yeah, to be honest, I feel like I'm still a work in progress.
We all are. We all are.
I don't really have any of those things solved. I think with boundaries, I realised I had to, because I went through something catastrophic. I was like thrust in the public eye, so to speak. And, I always had lots of people coming up to me saying, are you the girl from 60 Minutes? Was that you? Was that you? What happened to you? Were you burnt? And that's happened to me for over a decade now. And most of the time, I love it when people stop and say hello. They go, "You're that runner. You're bloody awesome. Keep up the good work." I love that. That's so nice. But I realise that sometimes people would ask quite intrusive questions. You know, what happened to you? Did you have a bad accident? Why do you look like that? You know, and what I would normally do, because I was quite polite, wanting to be kind, not wanting to be a bitch, not wanting to rock the boat, I would almost placate them and be like, "Oh, you know, it's all good. I got burned a long time ago. I'm all good. You don't need to worry about me." But that would typically extend that interaction even further. And I remember being at a park one day and I was with my sons, right? And a woman came over and she was like, "What happened to you?" And I was like, "Oh, yeah, mate, I don't really want to talk about it." And I could feel my younger son, I could feel I was holding his hand and I could feel him squeezing my hand. And he was like trying to pull me away. And this woman was like, "What happened? What happened?" It must have been a crazy, wild story. And I think I really learnt then, or I realised then maybe I wasn't setting a really great example for my kids, right? Because by placating all of these strangers, by allowing them to ask these intrusive questions of me, I was kind of giving them the example, or I was demonstrating that, hey, if someone comes and asks you a question, even if it's a stranger, you got to answer it. And if they ask you a question that you don't want to answer, guess what? You got to answer that too. And so...
Beautiful awareness by you, though, in that moment.
No, that's taken lots of therapy.
Yeah, but I mean, still, you got there.
That's taken lots of therapy. Yeah, so now I'm a lot better. So if someone comes up and says that, I go, "Yeah, I don't want to talk about it." And they'll say, "Oh, why not? Would be a really interesting story." And I just say, "I don't want to talk about it, mate. Sorry." And just shut it down. And that doesn't really feel comfortable for me to do that because it feels like I'm being rude. But on the other hand, I want to be a good example for my kids, right? Yeah. And I also need to protect my spirit, my power, my manner to be able to keep doing the work that I've been doing, you know. So it's been, I think setting boundaries has been a really good thing that I've learned, like more recently. Yeah.
I love that you share that because one, like boundaries look different for everyone.
Totally.
And it's not, there's no set rule or way to have boundaries. It's like just how can I honour exactly what you said, my spirit, my being, my mission, my purpose more so that I can continue to show up as a person I want to be. So it's like it can look so different for everyone. And I just love that example so much because it's like so intuitively like yours, like that's so important to you and to lead that example. And I think the other beautiful thing too is knowing that it feels uncomfortable because once upon a time you've probably been told that you respond to people, that you know, it's rude not to answer someone's question. Like, you know, so that feels uncomfortable because you're going against something that's probably been placed on you as a truth that's not actually a truth, but it's like you've been made to feel like I have to be this way to be a good girl or to be nice or to be respected. So
like it even happened at the airport today. But I just put on my headphones.
Really?
Yeah.
It actually kind of, I'm not going to lie, it blows my mind that people would.
Well, this is the thing, like heaps of people are just like living their lives. They don't give a fuck, whatever. Some people recognize me and they go, "You're awesome. I love your work. I read your book. I listened to this. I did blah, 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 blah." That's also great. Yeah. It's just some people feel like they can comment on other people's bodies. Yeah, it's really wild when you think about it. Yeah.
It is. Yeah. And it's just like, when do we get to a point where it was actually okay to comment on people? And it's interesting because I have this conversation with my kids now of like, there's certain words that we like don't use. Like no matter what, we cannot use the word fat in our house. Like about anything. Like it's just we don't use it.
Yeah.
And just having this conversation with kids of like, we don't comment on people's appearances. And everyone looks different because we're from different parents and different parts of the world. And I think it's just so important. Like there's no such thing as normal. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like even just breaking that.
Yeah.
Of like, we're all unique and everyone looks different in their own ways and there's no way you're meant to look or not look.
Yeah. I mean, I still, like, if I see a chick and I think she's got like cool boots, or she's rocking an outfit, like I'll always say, I'll be like, I love your boots.
Oh,
yeah,
100%.
Yeah,
and that's what I do always reinforce to the kids, like, if you like something, 100%. And I stop people all the time in the street. I'm like, I love that colour on you. Or, that looks great.
Yeah.
My son's actually started coming home from kinder and always telling me what his teacher wore because he thinks she looked beautiful. Aww. And I'm like, oh, mate, I love that. Like, that's so cute.
So cute.
She had such a beautiful dress on today, Mum. You would have loved it. It had blue. And I'm like, oh. So, but I mean, just that.
Yeah.
Like, if we don't have anything nice to say, then why are we saying
you don't need
to.
You don't need to say it.
Totally.
Yeah.
How do you kind of instill that with your kids? Is it just leading by that example?
I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I feel like, I'm trying to think. This is going to sound really wanky, but I feel like they would never say that to someone because maybe we have lots of conversations about, people looking different or, I don't know, I can't see a world in which they would comment
on someone,
how someone looks, I
think it's just like sometimes that outwards influence.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
I don't know, Yeah.
That's beautiful that they wouldn't.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe they would one day. Maybe they would. I just can't see it. But I suppose a lot of like the work I do is about, empowering women. And I've got this online coaching running thing and I'm doing this work on, this all sounds a bit grim, but lots of women don't feel safe when they're exercising outdoors. When they're going for a run or whatever, and so a big part of the work that I'm doing is to try and change that. But I think my son might have overheard like a work conversation or something because he was like, after the convo, he said, a boy's bad. Yeah, I know. And I was like, fuck, what have I been saying? And, I tried to say, no, like men are great, men are awesome, boys are great, boys are awesome. We need like beautiful, kind, compassionate, caring men in the world like your dad and like you and your brother will be. But I think there's a balance that I need to take too because I'm a lot about empowering women, but I don't think it's a job that women can do just by themselves, and nor should they have to. And we do need men. We need male champions too. Yeah.
Totally. But you have that in your home, like your husband. Such a beautiful role.
I know. He's He's actually so funny because he's actually super conservative.
Really?
And he's actually quite traditional.
Yeah.
So I'm like, why are you with me? Like, what was the thinking behind this?
Yeah.
But it's good. It's good to have someone, because so many people just give you lip service, right? Oh yeah, that's great. Keep going. It's great. And it's really awesome to be with someone who's always challenging your ideas, always challenging your rhetoric and your thought process. Sometimes it's annoying because you're like, just agree with me for once. Yeah. But, I actually really like that, really love that about Michael. Yeah.
I remember seeing this, I think it's Peter Cron, maybe his name is, he's like a relationship
advisor,
and he's quite spiritual as well. And I remember watching one of his clips that just like, when something just like shifts, like the way you think or the way you see something. And he said about love, like we never give our love to someone. When we fall in love, it's about us becoming a version of ourselves that we love with that person. And it just shifted so much for me where I was like, wow, it really is. And when you were just saying that then, it's like the person that you can become and you are with him and the way he challenges you or pushes you or motivates you, it's actually you loving that version so much and he's like giving that to you.
That's so true. Who's this guy? I want to go stalk him.
Yeah, he's on Instagram.
Who is it?
It's I think it's Peter Cron Crone or Cron, but he's amazing. Like even just his energy, like when you watch he does a lot of just like face to camera snippets or like extracts from podcasts.
Yeah.
He's quite big. I'm not sure if he's maybe from the US, but
I'll check him out.
Really cool. Just the things he says really land. But that one in particular, I was like, wow, that's actually what it is about, isn't it?
Because I was just reflecting on that. Like, you know how you're a different version of yourself with different people. And I think the version of myself that I am with Michael is a version that I like the most. You know what I mean? And so, we have a really great mutual respect and understanding for us. He still drives me crazy, still annoys me. Like lots of little things that he does that annoys me.
Yeah.
But and like I always get so much credit because people are like, oh, you're so resilient, you're so strong, you're so awesome. And like all of those things are true. But I think sometimes we look at resilience like it's an individual's strength or burden. So if someone's struggling at work, our solution is, well, you've just got to be more resilient. You've got to work it out. You've got to keep pushing. And I think that doesn't really tell the whole story. And I think the reason why I'm so resilient is I've got all of this amazing support behind me. I've got this wonderful partner. I've got a really great family. I've got epic friends. And so I wouldn't have been able to do what I've done if I didn't have those people in my corner, if that makes sense.
Absolutely.
And so I think, the view that we take on resilience, I think we need to shift it, because expecting someone to just suck it up, be better, be less shit, be more resilient when they're struggling in a toxic workplace, for example. I mean, you mentioned earlier about your experience in the corporate workplace. I just don't think it doesn't work.
No,
yeah.
absolutely.
And you're placing all of this burden on this individual, right? And you've got to look at like, well, why is their boss being such an asshole? Yeah. Or like, why don't they have better work-life boundaries, and why don't they have more people on their team to help them with this really long list of things that you want them to achieve? And, you know, so I think probably need to look at the systems we've got as well, rather than just saying, hey, if you're struggling, it's because you have a problem and it's because you're not resilient enough. Yeah.
And resilience is like that thing too, that it's like you build into it by going through harder times. It's like it's a building of almost like character, isn't it? Of like understanding and realizing your own strength, like that.
Yeah.
Almost.
I mean, I do agree with that, Mads, but I also slightly disagree.
No, I'd love to know,
because I think sometimes, I said earlier that, you know, my parents gave me a really good start in life, which I'm really grateful for, but not everyone starts from the same place, right? And there's so many people in Australia who might be facing things that we don't know about. They might live with a disability, they might be a person of colour, they might have insecure housing, they might be caring for their older parents, so they've got all of these additional burdens that we might not see when they rock up to their workplace or they show up somewhere. So I think to expect that person to be able to cope in the same way, or to be able to build their character in the same way that maybe you could, or maybe I could, I don't know if that's the fairest expectation. I'm not sure. I do think going through hard things builds character. I do think that, you know, it's like with school, like cross country, right? You want your kid to have a go, and if they come last, you're like, well, that's just how it works. You know, you're not going to be great at everything. Yeah. You got to give some things a go, and you might also be really shit at those things. So I do think it does build character, but I also think that people, especially in this country with cost of living and housing insecurity and all of those issues, people are just dealing with a lot just to get through their day-to-day. Yeah,
no, absolutely. I think that's like such a beautiful perspective of it. And it's almost why kindness is such an important thing. And we say, you know, kindness is free, but like if you go to, I always think about it when I'm at the supermarket, like if someone's, say, someone's comes across rude or doesn't give you much. But like I always have this moment with myself of like, I don't know what she's been through. I don't know. I don't know what her morning was like.
Totally,
like, I don't know what her past is like. So she's probably allowed to be rude to me right now. She probably doesn't want to like fully engage and be bubbly. And And it's funny because I remember working in hospitality, one of my old bosses being like, I don't care what happens at home. You leave all of that at the door and you come in here and you have a smile on your face. And for a long time, I thought that that's what I had, you know, what
we
I
all
had to
did
do.
in the 90s.
And so
yeah,
I would
we
get,
all
like,
did.
If someone was rude at the supermarket, the checkout person, I would be like, oh, how dare they, you know, be rude to me. But now, obviously understanding so much more and knowing more people and understanding exactly what some people actually have to face and go through and live with. Yeah. It's like, wow, imagine if everyone was just, I think that's why I'm so gobsmacked that people would walk up to you and actually say something. Like what happened to you?
I know, there's a lot of assholes out there, mate.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, it's just like, it is mind-blowing to think that people in this day and age would still, because they don't know what's happened. They have no idea. And so to make someone feel that way or to question that, you know.
I will say though, because I've got, you know, lots of friends who have businesses, and some of them might have a whinge sometimes about like this younger generation and how they ask for too much and how when they were young they'd just keep working. And I kind of feel like power to this younger generation, like power to them that they're saying, okay, you want me to work on a Saturday, what's the rate going to be? Yeah. What will I get? Like, what am I going to get paid? Yes. Or you told me that I could work today until 4, it's 4:05. You still got like, am I going to get overtime? You know, I actually think that's so great that they, and you know, maybe this is just like anecdotal thing, so it's not really evidence-based, but I think it's so great that they are better able to articulate their boundaries, because like you were saying, you know, when we were working in hospo and stuff in the 90s, we were supposed to go at 5:30, you're still working. There's no way you would say anything. Yeah, no, totally. You know, and if you would complain to your parents, they would say, well, that's what happens at work. Yes. Would be the advice. So I think it is wonderful that this younger generation is better at being, you know, clearer with boundaries, asking for what they want, not killing themselves for their job. I think that's absolutely amazing.
I totally agree. And it's like people can say like I've heard older people say like, oh, they're so selfish, this younger generation. I know. But I'm like, exactly, like hats off to them.
And it's like, I wish I was that bold at that age.
Oh my goodness.
Just say to my boss, okay, you want me to work on Saturday? What will the rate be?
Yes.
I never would have said that.
I'm meant to finish at 5. Like, I've got plans, so I'm going. Yeah. They're my plans.
Yeah.
That I'm
I would have just
to.
Texted my friend being like, I'm so sorry.
Still stuck at work.
I'm still here. So you said your boss could leave at 5. It's 8. Yeah, I know. I just don't want to say anything.
Yes, I know.
Yeah.
Do you think that they're like, obviously that is very people-pleasing behaviour too that has been instilled in us of like, you know, not rocking the boat and doing what people need.
Yeah.
Where was the shift for you to really, I guess, start to break that and rip back those layers? Obviously you've spoken a little bit into like not answering someone if you don't feel like it. Has there been other ways in your life, like with work and stuff, that you've kind of really started to be more mindful of those people pleasing behaviours?
And I mean, like when I wrote the book Selfish, I had so many women come up and tell me like how amazing it was and how it changed their life and how they wish they learnt this stuff when they were younger, because some of these women were like 60 and 70 and even 80. And I'm just reflecting now, like women of all ages have read my books, and I've had lots of comments on how great they've been from younger women too. But I think for younger women reading it, they might have thought, oh, this is all common sense. This is all like quite straightforward. And I think, if I didn't go through burnout, I probably would have never reevaluated my life in such a way. So I think, having better boundaries, even having boundaries with my team at work, you know, because sometimes they'd say, oh, can you just do this video? Can you do that? Can you do this? And, you know, I want to help out. It's for my business, you know, and so I'd always just say yes. But then at the end of the week, when you've just done stuff for everyone else and then you look at your own workload, and you haven't gotten anywhere with that, so then you're going to have to work a couple of nights, and then, you know, that's not a very healthy pattern to be in either. So, even just saying no to stuff from my team, and even with other work that I do, I suppose just having better boundaries from the start. So like, yeah, I can be involved, but this is what I can do. Yeah.
If you had to give one piece of advice to the women listening of how to start being a little bit more selfish in a really positive way so that they can continue to give back to themselves, what would it be?
There's this really good saying in Te Reo Māori, and I actually can't remember how to say it, so I'm kicking myself. But it's like, what's the point of giving your mana away to others if you can't look after yourself and your own, like your own family? So that's the thing I always ask myself, like, this work request in Ipswich sounds really cool, but how will I get there 3 days of my time? And then who's going to have the kids? And my husband's a helicopter pilot. He works away. So I suppose I kind of stop and do that sort of self-reflection rather than just saying yes automatically to stuff that comes in.
I love that.
Yeah.
That moment of pause, of just like...
Yes, you've said it so much more articulately than me, yeah.
Oh, no, but
yeah,
it's like
a moment
you
of,
said it, yeah.
Yeah, a moment of pause
like,
and self-reflection. And I've also noticed that when you say no to things that you don't really excite you, that something else will come up. And that's a really difficult thing to do, to just trust the process or trust the universe or whatever it is that you want to call it. But I found that if I just say no to things that I don't want to do, even if I'm not particularly busy in that moment, something else over the horizon, something else will come up. That's something that I do want to do or that I feel more aligned with.
And that's I think that's the biggest thing, isn't it? The alignment. Like when you are saying no, you're almost guiding the universe.
Yeah, but
back to your alignment.
Yeah, and you're also like giving yourself some bandwidth.
Yes.
Giving yourself some mental space. You know, you don't have to cram your life so full of everything that you don't have any time to think your own thoughts or come up with your own ideas. Yeah. I think especially in this age of AI too, like, you know, it's coming for all of our jobs, whatever. But I also think that if you can maintain that ability to remain agile, to remain flexible, to remain open to things, to remain creative, to have your own thoughts in the shower, I don't know, I think that's going to be even more unique the more that people use and rely on AI.
Totally.
Yeah.
The thoughts in the shower. I love you.
Thoughts in the shower. But like,
my favourite thing.
But you know why they happen in the shower? Because everything else is fucking quiet.
Yes, because it's still.
It's quiet. Yeah. And then as soon as you're out, there's like this and that and this and that.
So true.
Yeah.
It's like turning the dial down, isn't it? For like a moment in time.
Yeah, you get that moment of pause. Yeah.
What are some of your beliefs? You've touched a little bit on like the universe and having, I guess, that bit of faith. What are some of your core beliefs that you feel like you're so locked into that has helped, like that helps you to either stay positive or continue on your mission?
You know, if you'd asked me this like 10 years ago, my core beliefs might have looked quite different, because it would have been like, oh, well, you just got to work hard, you've got to knuckle down, you've got to keep grinding. And I think that's like when you're starting something new, I'm very anti-hustle culture, but at the same time, if you're starting something new, I do believe there is an element of hustle that needs to be done. I don't know if that's true or not, and I've only got my own experience to go off. So I do feel like to get a start, if you've got an idea, if you've got something you want to bring to life, there is a little bit of hustle that's going to be required. But I don't think like that anymore. I think the main belief I have is the sacredness of our relationships, and especially for me, it's the sacredness of my whānau, my family, so my husband and my 2 kids. And ultimately, and it's really hard because I'm an overachiever too, so I get so caught up in doing this, doing that, doing this, and I've got to take a step back and say, oh, what's the most important thing? It's your relationship with your husband, your relationship with your kids. You've got to make sure they're doing good. You've got to make sure that you're doing good. And then if everything's okay, then you can put some energy back into the world. And maybe that's just for this season of life too with young kids. Yeah. And
Beautiful.
yeah. And also, like, it's also a bit of a privilege to be in that position, right? To be able to be a bit picky with work and not have to go to a job that I fucking hate because I have to pay the mortgage, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a really good privileged position that I'm speaking on. And I don't want to diminish other people's experiences. If they're listening to this in the car, commuting to their job that they hate, thinking like, oh, Turia, she's so out of touch with reality. Yeah, because I know, that's not true for everyone.
No.
Yeah.
But you're also using your privilege in such a positive way to make positive change, to empower others.
Yeah.
So it's like, I think, you know, like what a gift to the world that you are to use, because there's a lot of people with a lot of privilege who aren't doing, you know, making an impact. So, you know, do you know what I mean? Like there's a lot of people with a lot of privilege and a lot of money and a lot of freedom and they're not making the change or the impact or, you know, that you are.
I suppose that's what I learned through Burnout too, though, because, I can't keep doing this work. I can't keep it up. I can't continue this if I just keep using up my mana willy-nilly and wasting it on things that I don't really believe in.
Yeah.
So maybe I'm more hesitant, a little more cautious before I jump into things. Yeah.
I love that. But that's also sometimes growth, isn't it, as well?
Yeah,
like,
growth.
It's
and I'm
going
just
through it and realising like, oh,
and I look at emails and I just think, I'm not fucking doing that, you know? I'm not doing that. I'm sorry.
No, totally.
Know? Yeah, whereas I think when even when I first started speaking, I went to this speech once and the event organiser was like, can you go out the front and meet every single person that walks in the door? And I was like, yeah, sure. Why not? And then if they asked me to do that now, just say no.
Your energy, you would have been so drained.
Yeah, I know, but how would I didn't know.
Yeah.
I didn't know. I was like, okay.
No, and it's all those lessons, isn't it? It's those moments where you're like, oh, that actually felt like shit, or like that was exhausting, or that was too much. So it's all those moments of growth.
I just like things probably that you learn the hard way.
Yes.
And you're like, well, I won't be doing that again.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Now, your book, we've obviously covered a few of the topics that are in there, but it is just...
Sorry, you're such a good interviewer. I just keep going off tangent. And you're just like, let's bring it back to why we're here. But I just want to say as well, I did actually do the narration for the book on Audible.
You did it?
Yeah, I did it.
Wow.
Yeah, I did it.
What was that experience like?
It was fucked. Yeah, I lost my voice. I lost my voice. I was like, how hard can it be? I'm just reading a book that I've already written.
Oh my goodness.
It's actually quite
exhausting.
Quite exhausting. But one of the good things about listening to an audiobook is like when you read a book, you read someone's story, you get the info, that's great. But when you listen to it, you get access to another level of information because you get access into how the author feels, because you can hear the pauses, the hesitation, the uncertainty, like when they get emotional and their voice starts wavering. So I actually really love listening to people's memoirs on audiobooks. That was part of the reason why I did this book, Selfish, on an audiobook too, because it was such I suppose I was going to say it was so personal. All my books have been personal. But
another level of
I feel like it was a little bit another level. And they shared with me some, narrators who were all great, but I was listening to them and I was thinking, nah, I actually feel like it should be me telling this story. Yeah.
And I feel exactly what you said, like the emotion and the energy that you can feel through someone's voice.
Yeah.
And like that is so much more powerful than, say, a polished narrator who's been like taught how and trained how to speak.
Yeah, exactly.
So
also
getting
the producer to go, can you just say that line again? Yes. I've said it now. I've said it. Just do it once more, Yes. No, that was fun. Yeah, and also like I feel like my voice, everyone's voice is unique, right? Everyone's voice is their signature. and I also think that with people's voices, you can kind of learn about their life story too.
I really love and you've touched on it already with your environment, like your family and what your environment gives to you and brings to you. And I guess on privilege, not everyone has the privilege of having a super nourishing, uplifting, connected environment.
Totally.
People are in toxic work environments.
They might have
people have toxic friendships.
Go home to a toxic relationship.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Toxic parents who don't understand where they're going. So being able to actually nourish your mind with an audio book is that's a way of building your environment, because I feel like what we consume, we ultimately become. Our thoughts, it becomes our thoughts, it becomes our beliefs, it becomes our truths. So when we're actually really consciously filling our environment through what we watch on the screen, what we listen to, in a really positive way, that's literally altering the brain chemistry in 100%. Our mind. And it's filter, and then it's allowing you to attract better relationships, better environments, because your mind is becoming so aligned with that. And I think that's what books like yours does, is that it actually allows people to build these super nourishing environments themselves.
Totally.
And you don't maybe always get that from physically reading, but I feel like listening to someone's voice is just you feel like you're a part of their world. Like you feel like you're friends with them.
Yeah, and I suppose that's why podcasts are good too, though. Yeah, because you get
to build on that.
Yeah, you get that insight. Yeah.
Turia, I've loved connecting with you and chatting to you, and I know the themes that we've spoken about today is just so in alignment with, where the women who listen to this podcast are. And I'd love to just hear a little bit more about your work as well, because I know there'll be so many people just wanting to dive deeper into your world. But how do you support women? You've said you do that through empowerment, but what are some of the ways that people can come into your world to work with you, as well as listening to your book, of course, on Audible?
Yeah, well, I suppose a big part of what I do is writing. So writing newsletters, writing books, that sort of thing. I've got an online coaching thing where I teach women who've never run before how to run their first 5K. And we also do half marathons and marathons. And ever since the last time we spoke about Happy, since then, running has taken off.
Yes.
And I love it because obviously it's something that I like to do, but it's just it's a really cool leisurely activity to be able to participate in. But I noticed again that there was all of these barriers for why women weren't participating. So some of them were things like they were overwhelmed with the mental load, all of the decisions they'd made throughout the day. But then I realised that a lot of women didn't feel safe when they went for a run. And so what I did is I actually did a national survey, and I took the results and I took them to Parliament House to try and advocate for change, because in the results of my survey, 3/4 of the women had experienced some kind of violence or harassment when they were going for a run. And are you a runner?
No, I'm
okay.
not. Sorry.
Can't you just lie?
I know, but when you said you teach 5Ks, my daughter had her first cross country, and I said to her, maybe we need to start running together. Because I loved as a kid.
You loved
cross country. Loved it.
Yeah.
And I always think it's the one thing you can do for free and at any time as a mum. Everything else you're restricted, like a class you're restricted to all of this. And I'm like, oh wow, just putting on the runners and being able to do that.
Yeah.
So it's definitely on the list. So I'll come to you soon.
And that's what shits me though, because it's such an accessible sport.
Yes.
But
they're not feeling safe.
Then there's all of these, all of these other barriers in the way.
Yeah.
And for some people, for cultural reasons, it might not be as permissible for them to go for a run. But then you've got this other thing of women not feeling safe when they go for a run.
Yeah.
Which is
absolutely with it getting dark. It gets dark.
Totally.
Now,
totally. And so I've got women in my community who will only run on a treadmill inside their house. And however you want to run, you do what you need to. That's great. That's awesome. You're still doing it. But I just think it's so grim that they don't feel safe enough to go outside. And it's not like they're just imagining all of this stuff in their mind. Yeah. They go out, they get people hurling obscene things at them from the car windows. They get people like stalking them on their run. You know, they get people who would typically be a man, you know, standing in the middle of their path. So, like, little wonder that they don't feel safe enough to go for a run, and then they can't access all of those benefits that participating in a sport like running does. You know, mental health, makes you feel empowered, helps to alleviate the mental load, which is what I talked about in the book, stress, all of those things. So that's probably one of my biggest pain points, I suppose, that I would love to try and solve. Yes. Yeah. Someone said to me last night, if it could be, I think they were taking the piss. So they were like, what if we made it legal for women to carry tasers? And I was like, sure, I'll add I'll add that to the list. Yeah. No, I think,
like, maybe that's what it like.
Yeah, I don't know. No, I think there's other ways. And it's all about, like, you know, if women are respected in the home.
I was going to say, it's education, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's about...
Totally, yeah.
It's creating that change, like, if it's in male friendship groups.
Yeah.
You know,
but that's why I said we need male champions. Because we can't just have people standing by.
Saying those sort of things.
Yeah,
or like
call them
out.
Totally,
absolutely.
Yeah, and like it's not just, you know, oh, women don't feel safe when they go for a run. That's a woman's problem.
Yeah.
You know, it can't just be a woman's problem. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for your time.
Yeah,
I could speak to you for so long. It's been
so
amazing.
Yeah, it's been great to chat with you. Thanks so much for having me.
And thank you so much for, like, saying yes to this, especially when you're talking about your boundaries and things you say no. I genuinely felt so honoured that you were able to give me
That's why I have capacity, because they're so normal.
Time and energy to this. I appreciate it so much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.